Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Leo and let's do some more Leetcode problems today. Today's problem is called can place flowers. So you have a long flower bed in which some of the plots are planted and some are not. Flowers cannot be planted in adjacent plots. So we were given an integer array containing zeros and ones. 0 means empty and 1 means not empty, and an integer n. Return true if n new flowers can be planted in the flower bed without violating the non-adjacent flowers rule, and false otherwise. So this basically gives us a integer array, and we can only plant some flowers in the 0 place, and it can't be adjacent to any ones. So it must be surrounded by zeros like this. So we have 3 zeros here, and we cannot plant here because it is adjacent to another flower. So let's move ahead. This one can be planted because it's not adjacent to any flowers. And for this one, it cannot because it's adjacent to this one flower. Okay, and we have an integer n, which is 1 in this case. So that means we can plant at most 1 flower here. Okay, so we should return true. Also, let's see if we have the same flower bed like this, but we have n equals to 2, means we want to plant 2 flowers in this flower bed. Can we do it? No, because we have only one valid plot. Okay, so how do we solve this problem? So the problem is we want to find the number of valid zeros. Okay, so we have multiple zeros here, but only this one is valid. But how to make it valid? We can make it not adjacent to any ones. Okay, so let's try to validate if it has any one adjacent to it. Okay, so let's say the count, the total number of valid empty spaces in this array. Let's call it count. Okay, so what are we returning? We will return if the amount of plantable spaces is larger than or equal to n. Okay, yeah. Next, let's validate the empty spaces. So basically, we can go one by one, and we will check for each 0, is it valid or not? So we can check 2 ways. So we can first check the left side, and then the right side. Okay, let's see. So flower bed length. Okay, so if flower bed I equals to 0, that's where we have to check. Okay, so first let's check if this is 0. Okay, let me write it over here. So if the left boundary is 0 and this is 0, and then we have 1 here, is this considered a valid point? Yes, of course. Okay, so we have to count this in. Okay, so let's see, boolean empty left. Okay, we have to check whether it's the first 0 or the flower bed I minus 1 equals to 0. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. So if it is the first element, because we're only looking at the left, right? So if it's the first element, we can say it's valid from the left. Okay, and or if it's not, like this one, we can plant another one to its left if the previous element is 0. Okay, like this one. okay? And then we check empty left, empty right, okay? So this becomes another scenario. Let's say 1 0 0. So if I is equal to flower bed length minus 1, we can say it's clean from the right side, or we have flower bed I plus 1 equals to 0. Okay, so this one is clear from the right side. Okay, what we want is if some plot, like some index, some position is left and right clear. Okay, so if empty left and empty right, we can increment our count. Okay, and we can also plant the flower there, so to say, mark it as visited, so that we don't have to count it again. Okay, and after this, I think this should work. Okay, it looks like so. Yeah, this is a pretty easy task, and let's analyze the complexity. So we're iterating the array once, so it's going to be on, and we don't have any extra space, so it's going to be o1. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in our next video.